I had about 3 people talk to me about how they wanted to get sober or felt bad about drinking so much at a Christmas party I was at last night because I had been chatting about like the fact that I don't drink anymore with another friend who quit drinking in 2012. He was like the OG, one of my friends that quit, and his mom who was saying like, "Oh, I just, I feel bad. I drink every day. I drink wine every day, but I love it." And I'm like, "Well, that's fine. Like if it's not a problem for you, then whatever, right? Like, but it's when you realize that you have the problem and it's no longer fun and you're doing it because you're like a hamster in a wheel and you can't stop and you're miserable every time you do it. And it's just interesting seeing people at parties who seem to be noticing that more and more people are not drinking alcohol or drinking less. Um, and it's also interesting to observe people who drink, but they just barely sip their drink. Like that was never me. It could never have been me. There was a lady I was talking to for like an hour last night. She didn't take a sip out of her wine the whole time. Like I was just like looking at it. Like I couldn't stop staring at her glass of wine and being like, why aren't you drinking that? Like I would have drank that glass, refilled, come back to the conversation, refilled again, come back to the conversation, and then on, right? Like I didn't have that off switch when I would be at a party. Like it's everybody's different with their alcohol consumption. So this is just, that Sunday morning message that if you woke up with a hangover today and you're thinking like, I really want to stop doing this, maybe that's a sign that you're ready to stop. But it's okay if you are a totally normal, functional drinker and someone's talking to you about sobriety, like you don't have to say like, oh, I really need to get sober. Like sober people aren't like that. Sober people are there because they had a little too much fun, got a little too wild, and it no longer became fun for them, and it became a huge problem, and they were no longer functional. But as sober people, we're just chilling, right? Like we're not trying to convince you if it's not a problem for you to stop. At least I'm not. Like I wish that I could still be someone that enjoyed it from time to time. Like I wish that it wasn't a full-time love affair with me, but it is. So that knowledge is power. I think there's different spectrums of drinking and alcohol use. And if you're in the beginning stage of the spectrum where you can just have a glass of wine, like it's all good. You don't need to feel guilty about it. Life is life. So it's all about what works for you and what gives you the best results in your day to day life. Happy Sober Sunday.